Amazing. Thank you, Flora. Right, let me just share my screen. Can everybody see this? Hopefully just give me a thumbs up if you can see the slideshow. Brilliant, thank you. So welcome everyone. It's great to see you here this morning for LinkedIn for Breakfast. I'm excited to be hosting today while Richard is off doing something incredible. He's running the Marathon des Sables, one of the toughest races in the world. He will be back soon, but in the meantime, we're keeping momentum going with another value-packed session. I'm Laura. I've got my lovely colleague Flora on the call with me today. She'll be popping some things in the chat. And obviously we've got Alex Smith, who's going to be presenting very soon as well. For those of you who are new, LinkedIn for Breakfast is the weekly deep dive into strategies that make LinkedIn a powerhouse for business growth. Every week, we unpack a key topic to help you build your brand, generate leads, and create real business opportunities. Before we dive in, a quick favor, Flora is going to drop a poll into the chat right now. If you could just take a moment to answer it, it will really help us tailor today's session into what's really relevant for you. So let's jump in. A quick reminder for all as to why we do this. The mission here at LinkedIn for Breakfast is to help entrepreneurs unlock the full potential of LinkedIn as a powerful tool for business development and brand expansion. And our vision, to make this the best place on earth to learn LinkedIn for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board or a place to scroll content. It's a powerful tool for getting seen, getting known, and getting clients. And that's why we're here every week, bringing you insights to help you grow. And to support you beyond these live sessions, we've built an amazing community, or rather Richard has built an amazing community with over 3,500 people inside our LinkedIn school. That's where you'll find all the replays, mini courses, networking pods, and resources to help you take action. Flora will also drop a link in the chat now to that. So if you're not there yet, if you're not in that group yet, please do be sure to join. So our agenda, what's on the agenda today? We've got an exciting two-part session lined up. Part one, we're going to dive into LinkedIn growth hacks, specifically how to leverage Leadeth to promote more leads and sales. And Alex Smith, as I said, is here to walk us through the exact strategies that are working right now so you can start seeing real results. Part two, we'll open up the floor for your questions. This is your chance to ask Alex anything about LinkedIn, strategies, lead generation, or how to maximize your success using Leadeth. So get ready to take notes, drop questions in the chat as we go. And Alex, over to you.
Brilliant. Thank you for the lovely introduction and welcome there, Laura. So just to make sure, just give us a thumbs up if you can hear me and see me and everything. Yeah, thank you. Great to have you all with us. Who's here kind of for the first time? Any kind of newbies, completely new to LinkedIn for Breakfast, or is this a kind of warm audience who have been in the LinkedIn for Breakfast for quite some time? Just put your hand up if you're new. Just having a quick look at the pictures. I see one or two. Morning, Keith. And thank you for completing the poll there. It seems like most of you just need support around generating leads and sales. Second place was getting profile views and engagement. And then we'll probably skim over the other stuff, but I'll probably pick up on it in my presentation this morning. I'm just going to share a screen so you can follow along, but thanks again for having me today, subbing in for Richard. As business leaders and consultants, you probably already know this, but LinkedIn is more than just a professional networking site. It's actually, what you might not know is that with the right strategy, it can become your most powerful tool for business growth. So my plan today is to kind of unpack that a little bit, share some proven strategies that have certainly helped me, helped some of the 160 clients that I've worked with over the last 4 years to really generate consistent qualified leads and position themselves as authority in their space. And as a kind of coach or consultant, the marketplace is very saturated, so it takes quite a lot to kind of stand out from the crowd. Before we dive in, let's talk about LinkedIn. Super high level stuff here. 80% of B2B leads come from LinkedIn. So, and that's compared to Twitter and Facebook combined. So it is a powerhouse. If your target audience is someone in business, LinkedIn is the platform for you. It's where you need to be. 4 out of 5 LinkedIn members drive business decisions. So the chances are, if you're trying to get to decision makers, they'll be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn users apparently have a 2 times higher buying intent than other social platforms. So, the right decision makers, the right people, they're out there to be buying stuff and working on their businesses and growing their businesses. So LinkedIn for me is the place where I've been focused on. And a well-optimized profile, we're going to come back to this theme. Richard's kind of drilled it in quite heavily over the years. That is your shop window, and a consistent content strategy is going to generate what we call inbound leads without any advertising spend. Nobody wants to be spending hundreds a month to get leads. And if you can do it without that, LinkedIn is a great place for you to be doing it. So simply put, if you're not using kind of LinkedIn strategically, you're actually leaving a lot of opportunities on the table for other people. So now's the time to kind of make a note, wake up. LinkedIn is, and I'm going to show you some stats and figures here in terms of my journey with LinkedIn. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Alex. I'm the founder of Leadith. It's good to see a few familiar faces here today. I've been hiding in the school community, but I'm also on the $1 Million Sprint with Richard, and I help consultants, coaches, business owners to systemize their LinkedIn lead generation without relying on VAs or spending hours online. I created a 6-step LinkedIn roadmap, and that's helped SMEs and also solo consultants to really generate leads on autopilot. And I'm going to dive into some of the real results. I had a look back on my CRM, I'll show it to you later, but 152 booked calls with people. In fact, that was people that showed up calls. It was about 400 booked calls in the last 12 months. And that's purely from LinkedIn, using automation, clear messaging, and a strong call to action. So that's a little bit about me. About 4 or 5 years, I've been proactively on the LinkedIn space. I spend just 12 minutes a day on LinkedIn. And I've got a little screenshot which I'll show you. So I'm going to dive into how you can be best using your time on the platform, some quick wins for you to start to get those leads, get the sales that you need to be getting through LinkedIn. I mentioned the roadmap, super quick, high level. We're about helping people who are maybe struggling on LinkedIn to get more sales and more time out of the platform. We do it through this six-step process. Number one is understanding your target audience. So this is all about tapping into places where you can find lots of the right people, and LinkedIn is a powerhouse for that. Once you've targeted the kind of high value prospects that you need to be in front of, we look at your personal LinkedIn profile. And I know Richard is offering fantastic audits to have a look at your LinkedIn profile. So do take him up on any of those. If you get the opportunity, it's definitely worthwhile. And certainly the first step in your LinkedIn journey is to get that profile polished. Once you've got your profile speaking to the target market with clarity, they know what you're about, they know what you want to do, we then need to message them. So the step 3 is the LinkedIn outreach automation step, and that is we use automation to send around about 20 to 30 connection requests on a daily basis consistently. The natural follow-up piece to a new connection. So the aim here is to build up your network on LinkedIn, build up those first-degree connections of people that you want to be in front of. So as I say, the next step, the natural follow-up is an email communication or a phone call. If you can do a phone call, even better, because it's much more personal. But if you can automate an email after that LinkedIn connection, it's going to save you so much time. And Leadith is a great solution to do that. There's plenty of others out there. Having a content strategy is also going to help. So you've got your outbound strategy and then your video content strategy. Video is so powerful on LinkedIn at the moment. They went into like TikTok style with videos recently, a few months back. And that has kind of opened the door for just another way of consuming content on the platform. So if you can be nobody likes to be on camera. Everyone's very fearful about, what to say. There's loads of people probably in this room that might even be able to help you with confidence on putting that first video out there. But I believe video content is so powerful. It's just, speaking to a business owner, someone of senior decision making, you've got to build trust, and you need to build that trust really fast. So video is a really powerful medium to do that. Polls and other things like that also work really effectively and boost engagement. And then the final step in the jigsaw here is having automations set up, having automated calendars, making it really easy for people to book a bit of your time. And I'm talking, 15 minutes of your time, maybe for an initial conversation. If you can make that process super simple, your calendar is going to be filled quite quickly. And part of the automation bit at the end there is sending the reminders, sending up the follow-ups, and nurturing these new connections. So most people think, LinkedIn requires hours of daily effort to generate and build a network. But here's the truth of it. I actually spent 12 minutes, 12 minutes on average per day last week. Here's the screenshot I took last night from my phone. It was 1 hour 24 for the whole week spent in the LinkedIn app, which is about an average of 12 minutes. I'm probably not using it to the full strength, but I'm just trying to prove that there's a smarter solution out here that can help you to grow your network without consuming all your valuable time. And here's the stats for the last year. So despite 12 minutes, my CRM generated 152 showed calls. So 408 were actually booked, 164 confirmed calls, and 152 showed. A few cancellations, a few no-shows, you get that. But LinkedIn doesn't have to be time-consuming. It just needs to be the right system. And today we're going to explore the growth formula, a 3-pillar system to kind of get you started, get going quickly with LinkedIn. And then we'll dive into some of the campaigns that I've been running and share some growth hacks, some cool campaigns that I've seen really good results with. Okay, so just in case you didn't know, you can actually extract all of your data from LinkedIn. Just like any other organization, you can do a data request. So if you go to your settings and I think it's called privacy and settings, there's a tab called data privacy, and you can request all of your data from LinkedIn. And this is all your contacts. So it's really good as a backup. So before we work with clients, one thing I always ask them to do is to do this because it's really helpful. You get a zip file and you get a heck of a lot of data. Now, with data, obviously we've got the AI these days, and AI is a fantastic tool for analyzing that data. So being a bit kind of data orientated, I thought I'd slam in my data into one of these AI language models to see what it said. So I discovered that I joined LinkedIn back in March 2009, 16 years ago. And what I realized is 10 years of that time were just wasted opportunities. This is what the data looks like if you plotted it on a chart. This is the number of connections that I gained on a monthly basis. So yeah, up until kind of January 2019, I then started in more of a business development role. I needed to start connecting to people. But that's when I started to use automation and systems to really proactively connect with people that I wanted to be in front of. So I have my LinkedIn set up a little bit counterculturally. Nobody can connect with me on LinkedIn unless they have my email address. And that really means I've got full control of the network. So I'm only allowing people, once a month I might go in and just, if there's one or two in there who have requested to join me, it's probably a personal connection or something like that who I know, I accept them. So my strategy has always been, I want to target the right people who I want to be in front of. So a very strategic approach. But yeah, before 2019, my LinkedIn growth was just really organic, averaging around about 30 to 50 connections per year. Very limited reach, very slow expansion due to manual outreach, and it takes time, and I was probably focused on other things at the time. But then the turning point was 2019. I started to leverage tools. There's hundreds out there. Leadith's just one of them, but there are hundreds out there. They're all at different price points. They all do different things. But these tools help you to scale in a much efficient way. You're not kind of bypassing LinkedIn's guidelines, but you're actually aligning with its core purpose. And that's building value with professional relationships. So those connection requests remain super targeted, relevant, value-driven, and always ensuring authenticity. So the messages were sounding like me in my tone. So beyond 2019, I started seeing around about, I think, 6,600 new connections 2019 to 2021, and then 22 to 2024. Consistently, high quality connections continuing to come in around about 1,800 per year. So why this automation process doesn't undermine LinkedIn? Because this is a huge question. People say, is my account going to get banned? You need to play by LinkedIn's rules. So LinkedIn's mission is to connect the world's professionals and make them more productive and more successful. LinkedIn, we know, are using AI in the platform. I would hazard a guess, probably a good 25% of what you see on LinkedIn is all kind of AI-driven, scheduled content and very much AI. So a lot of these conversations are almost like AI to AI, quite scary. But when it's used correctly, it really enhances what you're doing with LinkedIn's mission. It allows professionals to really discover relevant connections much faster, and it keeps the engagement personal and meaningful. So my approach has always been, prioritize those genuine interactions, filter out any irrelevant context. I don't mind unconnecting or disconnecting from people that I don't feel there's value there. They can still follow me if they want, but LinkedIn's got a limited number of people. I think it's something like 30,000 that you can connect to. And when you start to approach that big figure, which I probably will, based on these stats, I probably will hit that, in the next 5 years quite quickly. But what we're seeing in terms of a result, having this strategic scaling process, it's leading to new business relationships. For you, it could be high quality speaking opportunities, high value client acquisition. So LinkedIn is the tool for growth, and you need to leverage it correctly, and then it starts to help you to accelerate your business. So I'm going to break this down into 3 key pillars for LinkedIn success. Firstly, optimize your profile for conversion. So you need to be positioning your LinkedIn profile for real high conversion. So you think of this like a shop window. Think of it as a landing page for your business. Key elements to consider are your profile photo. So many people just get this wrong. They don't have a high quality headshot. It's normally poor lighting, off center, the head's kind of cropped off. There are some real shockers out there, and I'm thinking about putting together a hall of fame of some shockers that I've seen. You need to present yourself in a really nice, compelling way, so others can build rapport instantly. If you're not smiling, apparently the smile creates that inner sense of trust. So having that in your photo really helps. Secondly, the compelling headline. So you need a real compelling headline that speaks to your target audience with clarity. Think about the people you're reaching. Call them out in that headline. So if you're looking to target accountants, call them out. You say, I help accountants. And then, what is the solution and problem? So what's the accountant's problem that they've got? Mention it. I help accountants scale their practices, and then give a bit of answer in terms of the solution through, whatever it is, through social media marketing or however you might work. But the clearer you are on that niche, the better. Because when those accountants come to your page, straight away, they see you as an expert. They know that you're the person to get in touch about this specific problem. And that brings me through to the next bit, which is the call to action. So having things like free resources. So it could be a simple thing like you put together a 10 point checklist, 1 page A4 thingy, PDF, that really adds value and helps people to get where they are. Most of these people are in what we call the buyer's pyramid. Only 3% or 2% at the top of that buyer's pyramid are actually ready to maybe buy your solution or products. So we need to start to educate people, all the other people in that pyramid who maybe don't realize they've got a problem. A few of them will realize and they'll know that they don't need you, but the majority are just sat there in this unknown. So that's why we have to have educational campaigns running that are going to educate that audience and build trust with them. And it does take a long time to build that, especially in a B2B sense. They say a magic 7 hours is what you need to be in front of someone or having meetings with them. That clock's ticking away. When you get to that 7th hour, that's when they're ready to sign up. So it is a long journey. Secondly, in terms of the content strategy, this is really essential. So just connecting with people is okay. I mean, you can go far with just connecting, But I think the power of having a content strategy just cements your thought leadership. You can start to share things like client wins. So if you've started working with a client, grab that testimonial. It's so powerful in terms of how that works, that flywheel effect. The next prospect who's coming to your profile is going to see that, and they'll want to be a part of that as well. Also, there's this 80-20 rule, so Pareto's theory. 80% value and 20% promotion. That's kind of roughly where you need to be getting it. So make sure, if you're doing 5 posts a week, only 1 post wants to be really promoting you. The rest of the 4 other posts want to be about adding value. So things you can do there. There's just ChatGPT is fantastic for creating content ideas and things. So think about how you can be adding value to your audience. And then the third step of the strategy is to really what I call build this outbound engagement strategy. This is what I love doing because I love leveraging tech to my advantage here. So those strategic connection requests, think about who might be really good strategic partners, not necessarily end clients, but who might you work alongside as maybe a referral partner. If you can find those people and just start a campaign reaching out to these people and going with hey, we'd just love a 15-minute virtual coffee or catch up just to explore, potential partnerships. Those sorts of campaigns are really powerful, and you can actually form some really good high quality bonds with others who are then just kind of referring people to you regularly. I want to talk about effective DM outreach. Personalization is key. It came out tops in the last couple of years in terms of outbound outreach techniques. Personalization is essential. So if you're just using a generic copy and paste template over and over again, I think people are starting to see through this. So it's really important to have a look at someone's profile, pick up on something on their profile that's really maybe just resonating with you, and then mention that in the profile. It could be their experience in a certain field. If you can pick out these personal aspects, they're going to just get connected with you much faster. And we're going to look at some of those techniques that I've used in a moment. Also commenting, we recently introduced AI commenting into our platform. I was a bit dubious by it. I was worried about hallucinations, but it's so good. It really is. It got me my next client who's signing up later this month. I had a meeting with him back in September 23. And that was a discovery call, but for whatever reason, the timing wasn't right with this guy. So he's obviously been around. He's still absorbed my content, seen my posts on LinkedIn. And then I turned on this auto AI commenting thing. Do be careful with these because you probably don't want to be doing more than 10 or 20 a day. So I strategically identified people in my first degree network who are maybe decision makers of certain types of businesses in a specific industry using the LinkedIn search. And then I added all these people into this post commenter, and it generated a really personal, positive comment, and also asks a question about their post and just pops it on their profile. And that generated me an inbound message from the contact saying, "Hey, can we get together in the diary?" And had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with this guy. He's super keen to come on board, and I've got a kind of deposit there as well. So commenting is not to be underestimated. It's one part of the LinkedIn algorithm. So LinkedIn loves you for being a part of it, and commenting is great. And if you can learn how to automate that, and for that to then generate you leads, you're doing something really smart. So one of the hacks that I've been doing recently is personalized video, or it could be a personalized voice note. So when you connect to somebody, I think Sue's got a question. Should we bank that, Laura, for the end, or happy for me to, if it's relevant, answer it?
Yeah, we're going to do Q&A kind of at the end. So if you can just keep that question in your head, Sue, or even pop it in the chat to make sure you don't forget it. We'll come back to those in about, in a little bit.
So one of the really big strategies that I've seen other people do as well is what I call voice note strategy, or a video strategy, and that's where you are creating personalized connection requests, and you can either add a voice note, You can add a personalized video. So this is a really poor example of a really old campaign that I ran, targeting all sorts of different people, it's literally a 30-second video, and it's a video of me talking over the top of their LinkedIn profile. And we create these on scale, so they're not personalized at all. They're actually very automated. So I don't actually mention Jessica's name in the video. I just say, hi there, my name's Alex from XYZ. Just scrolling through your profile, I noticed your experience in, it could be something like sales, because I've searched for all the people that have sales mentioned in their profile. And I'll say, you know, I've got this, I'd love to hop on a call with you. Click on the button below. So that's been a really good solution for generating highly personalized campaigns at scale. And we do that within the Leadith platform. Yeah, voice notes is another great way of doing it as well. So if you can record a really hyper-personalized voice note, there are AI tools out there these days that would do that as well at scale. But once you've set these tools up, you know, they're just operating in the background for you, generating that interest, generating the connections. Must emphasize, content-driven leads. We've got to be creating valuable resources, lead magnets. We've got to be putting something out there into the marketplace. It's really important. Share insights that really demonstrate your expertise. You can use direct messages also to kind of maybe share additional value. So think about how you can be adding value in your outreach. Another campaign that I've recently been doing for the last few months is what I call the interview method. And this is where basically you think about your target audience and you say, you know, go into ChatGPT and say, right, what are the top pain points of a, you know, an accountant or, you know, chief accountant or senior accountant. And GPT comes back and basically tells you, you know, three to six bullet points of, you know, what the common pain points are. So now you know the pain points of your audience, you lead with that. And you can position yourself as as an expert in the field. And when you outreach to people, you say, hey, I'm just running a research paper on the top pain points for accountants. That is really going to resonate with them, you know, because they're feeling that pain right now. It's what keeps them up at night. And on the output of that, you're booking short 15 to 30 minute, what I call insight calls. And it's a nice way for you to just naturally introduce yourself. And it's not salesy. You're not selling them anything. You're just asking their insights on a specific thing. And the purpose of the interview method is that you're building up to something like a white paper, or it could be you're actually writing a book and you're doing it for research for your book. Similar to that method is what I call the podcast method. Podcasts are just still growing hugely. So you could position it as you'd like to interview them as part of a podcast you're about to create, and you're trying to get enough content before you launch it. So there's systems like Riverside FM is a fantastic tool for facilitating the recording of those calls. And when you start to record them, obviously you can transcribe all the calls, and that gives you a huge amount of insights. You don't have to sit there and make notes on the call. You can just have a nice conversation with someone. It just flows really naturally. So there are a couple of strategies that I've been working on. Happy to kind of put it out to the room now and dive in a little bit deeper. If anybody's got any specific challenges or needs a bit of clarity over anything I've mentioned so far, then happy to do that.
Thanks, Alex. I'll just do a little outro and then we'll go into your
Sure.
into Q&A. So let me just share my screen once more. So yeah, that was awesome, Alex. It was really packed with lots of insights on how to leverage lead depth for more leads and sales. Now, as Alex himself mentioned, if you've been listening and thinking this all sounds great, but my LinkedIn profile, is it actually set up for success? Then Richard does have something for you, which is the free LinkedIn profile audit. It's a 45-minute one-on-one session where the team will help you optimize your profile to attract the right people, craft compelling headlines and banners that make an impact, use recommendations to boost credibility and trust, write your about section that actually sells, and fine-tune your lead generation strategy to bring in more leads. There's no catch, it's just real actionable advice, but these sessions are limited. Flora's going to drop the link in the chat now. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to come off there and just share my screen again, just to show you. She says, and then she can't find where she's got it open. Problems of being on something live. Here we go. Let's open this up. So these are the slots you can see. We've only got one left today. Tomorrow there are 5. When those slots are gone, obviously they're gone, and they do fill up really quickly. So do hop on one of those if you can. I will say that if those times don't work for you, or if they do get snapped up, just type waiting list in the chat and the team will personally reach out and get you booked into the next available session. So if you're serious about making LinkedIn work for you, then this is your chance to get expert eyes on your profile. So do grab your spot now. But yeah, now let's open it up for Q&A. If you have any questions for Alex about LeadEth or LinkedIn growth strategies, drop them in the chat or raise your hand and we'll get through as many as we can. If you do want to start, Alex, with any that have been in the chat while you were talking, then start there and then we can go to raised hands.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll come to Penny's question. So Penny was asking, can you say a little bit more about the 5 pain points that ChatGPT asks about insights and conversations with your target audience? How do those two connect? So let's just do a quick demo. Penny, who are you targeting? And I can do a live demo of this just to help you understand this better.
Hi, Alex. I have 2 target audience. One is lawyers who work in inside large law firms, and the second area is really business owners who have a business that they're trying to scale. So who are turning over between 5 and 20 million.
So going back to the first one, then I would treat these as 2 separate things. So you're targeting lawyers. Any specific type of lawyer?
Lawyers who are at a senior associate level, but they're trying to make partner. So
what type of law?
Any type of law, doesn't really matter. It's really around the promotion process that they want to achieve, and I help them achieve that.
Issues around the promotion process. Okay, so I'm actually using a tool called Perplexity, perplexity.ai. It's completely free to use. The reason I've gone to Perplexity is because there's a social element to it. So you can actually, rather than just scanning content out there on the web, you can actually scan social discussion networks, things like Reddit and things like that. So when you put your question out there, I'm just going to put it out there. We'll see what comes back. You can see this is on Pro Search, so it might be taking a little bit longer. It's doing a much more thorough analysis, and it's actually picking up content from Reddit, a lawyer website, also for LinkedIn. So these are the kind of the top pain points. So misaligned promotion criteria, focus on rainmaking over leadership. Law firms often prioritize lead generation. You might want to put some UK context into this as well. The lack of transparency and fairness, subjectivity and decision making. This is all way beyond me. This is all like university stuff here. Prolonged timelines, extended path to partnership. Is this stuff kind of making sense or resonating?
Yeah. I know all this stuff. Yeah.
So these would be the pain points in terms of going in with one of these pain points and presenting yourself as a solution to these pain points. And I would do split test it. So, one of these might work a lot more effectively than something else. So when you have multiple campaigns or multiple different ways of going in, one of them will start to resonate, and it's just keeping an eye on that and tracking it. It's very hard to do manually or just with spreadsheets, but when you start to use automation tools, you can actually set up what are called campaigns. So you could have a lack of transparency and fairness campaign that just targets that one specific issue, and then by the end of doing maybe 25 to each type of campaign, straight away which is the clear winner, which is resonating with your audience. Hopefully that helps a little bit, does it?
Yeah. What I found difficult to understand from what you were saying was how, I get that bit about, asking the questions and the pain points, and therefore you can create content on that. but how do you then go to the interviews? What's the connection? I didn't quite
Yeah.
follow the bit.
So, I mean, we can do it in Perplexity. So just say, I'm looking to invite LinkedIn contacts to an interview around the top pain point, or actually take one of the pain points. I would so misaligned promotion criteria, lack of transparency and fairness, maybe that one. Looking to invite LinkedIn contacts to an interview around interviews will gather insights from lawyers and leaders. I'll use the insights for a white paper. Write a simple 50-word message. So this will give you a bit of a template, a bit of a framework that you can then use. So yeah, in terms of that outreach, hi first name, I'm gathering insights for a white paper on the challenges lawyers face, particularly around the lack of transparency and fairness in promotions. Your experience would be invaluable. Would you be open to a brief interview to share your thoughts? So it's super, it's not salesy, not threatening at all, but generates a lot of interest if the topic is right for the person.
Right. Thank you very much. That's really helpful.
Okay.
Just Alex, we've got the question from Sue, who'd kind of put her hand up just before we got to questions. I just don't want hers to get missed. She was asking if this facility is on the free version of LinkedIn. I don't know if you want to expand on that, Sue.
Well, of course, we've moved on, but everything you're outlining to do, can we do that on the free version?
You can do it on the free version, but it's going to take you hours and hours each day. That's the dilemma.
Right.
You've got to think about trading. How much is your time worth to you in terms of a monetary spend? And that's what it all boils down to. It's that kind of value perception thing. If you value your time at £50 an hour, it's not sensible for you to be doing it. You would want to automate it with a software tool, costing, whatever, £150 a month, and then it's leveraging your time. So you've got to work smart.
Okay. So, okay. Lovely. Thank you very much.
If you've not got budget, if you can't budget aside maybe £150 a month for automating some of this, yes, you're going to have to use your time. You're going to have to do the searches manually. You're going to have to send the connection requests. But yeah, it's that risk of always having a little bit of budget for marketing. It's an investment for the future.
Absolutely.
The way I see it.
So when you say software tool, what are you thinking of? Sorry, I can't speak very much. I've got a bad cold.
That's fine. So
yes, software tool.
Yes, I can give you a super quick demo of the Leadeth tool. So this is a tool that Richard currently uses for reaching out to prospects on LinkedIn.
Thank you.
It's very straightforward. For example, I've done a campaign here where I'm reaching out to CMOs in London. You can see my acceptance rate, 50%. So out of half of the people I'm sending a connection request to, they're actually accepting. So 42 have been accepted. I'm getting a reply rate of around 6%, which is quite low. And then I've done another version of that campaign, but that's yielded 13%. So there's huge differences in the approaches, and the messaging has a huge impact on that. And obviously how your profile is laid out. So just to show you some of these campaigns. So in terms of an outreach strategy, what this is doing, it's hooked up to my LinkedIn profile. This is a very simple campaign. It's just got 3 steps to it. All we're doing is sending the connection request. We don't even have a personalized message in that one. We're viewing their profile. So using automation to view the profile, and we're liking 3 of their posts. So I never see those posts that are liked. It just happens in the background. We also have this post AI comment, and this is where I mentioned this strategy earlier. This is where someone puts out a comment on LinkedIn. We can then say, put a positive or put a question with it. And that's generating quite a lot of interest, that sort of campaign. You could then
Wow.
go on
Okay.
and further create another step. So you might want to send them maybe an email. So you could then add that as a step into the sequence. So that's a very basic sequence. Obviously, some of the sequences are a little bit more complex and leveraging some of the other stuff we do. For example, this is my queue of tasks. So you can set this to automatically go out. So with things like polls, I'm happy for poll messages to go out automatically on the platform. So those are the follow-up post comments. Whereas something like an email or a message, I would probably want to vet it myself. So I've got one here. There's a couple of messages that I set. I'm just picking on some random person here, but this is basically composed the message for me, ready to go out. So I can just vet it and just check it aligns with everything I'm doing. So I can then edit the message if I want to edit it. If I'm not happy with it, I can just change it here. And then once I'm happy, I can just click approve. And then this message gets automatically gets queued up and gets sent out. So yeah, as I say, you can just rely on AI to do it for you, but it's a little bit more risky. But eventually the training of AI is getting better and better. So you could just select them all and just approve them if you wanted to. But
Lovely, thank you.
post comments is a really good strategy that we're seeing a lot of people leveraging at the moment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you. Next one, if we go to Richard, who's got his hand up actually in the window, and then we can carry on with the ones in the chat.
Richard, how does just
Yeah,
12 minutes?
sorry, just trying to unmute.
Different Richard.
Oh,
Alex, we've got
go for it, Richard.
Richard Ward, not Richard Woods. Good morning, both. Just a quick question. I have a little bit of an issue, or well, not an issue, a problem using a lot of the sort of suggestions for LinkedIn. I'm a financial advisor, so consequently, I'm not allowed to use a call to action. I'm not allowed to use testimonials. Is there still enough sort of general stuff within your software that could still make it work?
Very much so. In terms of as a financial advisor or someone like that, there's nothing stopping you connecting with people. No,
that's fine. Yeah, I do a lot of connecting.
Yeah. So the power lies in engaging and nurturing that first degree network. So I would want to be thinking, making sure there's a message going out to everyone in my network at least once a month. Is now the right time for them to maybe explore a specific element that you want to talk to them about. So it's thinking, obviously, if you've got budgets and updates like that, that causes a natural conversation with everybody. So you can run campaigns that are kind of relating to maybe a new taxation or something that's coming in that might affect them. And it's making them aware. So you're adding value. But be yourself, set up your profile. As I say, it's not a salesy thing approach. It's just a relationship thing. You're just building relationships here. That's all it is.
Right.
Could we have a 15-minute chat? No specific agenda. I don't want to sell you anything on the call. And just, meet people. And the more of these kind of small little mini meetings that you have, then it just gives you a huge scope for building up maybe referral partners or strategic partners, or, even a new client might come out of it. If someone connects with you and gets a bit of rapport on that call with you, then it's building trust and building the relationship. So don't be upset by the FCA and the requirements of how they say you should be operating.
It feels like when you're trying to get yourself out there, you've got one hand tied behind your back all the time. But certainly interesting.
It's a little bit like me. When I ran my my print shop, being down in Weymouth, 50% of my catchment area was the sea. There was no one there, and they weren't buying from me. So I was already at a disadvantage because of my location. And I think that's kind of what you're alluding to. Having them being it's just one of the challenges and complexities, but I think you can get around with it.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for that one, Alex. Okay, so we've got just about 10 minutes left, so we'll see if we can get through the rest of these in the chat as well. So Other Richard Hidwood wanted to know how does just 12 minutes a day work if we need to be active on LinkedIn for 50 minutes before and after each post, for example, through a LinkedIn pod, to maximize the post's impact. And does AI do this 30 minutes for you?
Yeah, so there are tools that do pods. Pods are a little bit. I kind of have dipped into pods, but I've not seen the huge results myself. If the pod network is on target and it's the right sort of people, then I think it can work, the pod strategy. But as I say, yeah, very time consuming. Yeah, if you've not got a VA to do it for you, I think AI can struggle to get the style and tone that you want to convey in those pods. Otherwise, it just starts to be a bit too samey. So I think about value-driven content and relationship building strategy is my preference. Not sure
Thanks,
if that
Alex.
answers
Sorry.
your question.
Yeah, can I jump in on? So with that, if you ignore the pod part of it, but still go with the posting, the
Yeah.
logic I've been told of LinkedIn is that you need to be active for 15 minutes before your post, 15 minutes after, and therefore LinkedIn sees you as an active user and therefore is more likely to promote your post to other people. So with the 12 minutes a day, either if AI is obviously doing the liking, commenting, it's kind of tricking LinkedIn to thinking you're there when you're not, or the 15 before and 15 after isn't actually required. Therefore, the 12 minutes a day works. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think the algorithm is such a big mystery, and I don't think we'll ever know and understand it in its full, entirety. I think doing something is better than doing nothing. So if you can, if you've got time and capacity to be putting the content out there and spending the time, then great. But I wouldn't do it religiously for 2 years, because I think potentially you're wasting a lot of time when you could just be focused on strategically connecting to the right people you want to be in front of, with people that are hopefully a little bit further along that, a buyer's pyramid, beyond that journey where they need to be. And it gives you control. You can be educating them with a message. So it's on your terms rather than hoping that they would just glance at one of your posts to I think the strategies kind of complement each other. But for me, what's worked with me has been for sure the connection strategy, getting meetings in the diary. For me, that's what moves the needle in terms of revenue. I haven't found a correlation to the pods yet and booked calls. Sharon has a services page. Any ideas on how to promote this from my business page? Is it worth having a services page? So my view on LinkedIn company pages, great to have a presence and a business page, just to showcase your services in case somebody comes along. But ultimately, people buy from people. This is never going to go away. I think the idea of having a faceless automated page that will drive revenue, I think doesn't exist. I think the world exists on relationships. So I think the connection strategy is the best way forward if you want to see real results, and in my opinion. Yamizi struggles to get engagement on the LinkedIn company page. Personal profile page is getting strong engagement. Do you have any tips on how I can increase paid engagement? I would ask, are you doing the newsletter? So newsletters are really powerful to engage with a warm audience. I think I had 10,000 connections when I started a newsletter, and around about 10% joined the newsletter in the first 24 hours. So if you're not leveraging newsletters are really good, just to bring your warm audience, your first degree connections together, invite them to read your content. In terms of how often you should put value content out. Don't be worried whether it's once a month, but that newsletter is your audience. It's the people that are going to buy from you next. So it's important to nurture that newsletter audience. So I tend to have a campaign which is set up just to connect with those people who have subscribed to my company page or my newsletter. So it's proactively trying to invite people to a call on the back of their action, their initial, signal. You call it a buying signal.
Hi, sorry. When you say newsletter, I've got one. And does LinkedIn have a newsletter? I've got my own newsletter. I've never actually thought of. So what I tend to do is I put on really good insights and support and information on the company page, and then and I use the articles as well.
Yep.
But then my newsletter is specific to my members. So when you say newsletter, which newsletter is it a LinkedIn one or is it my own personal one?
Yeah, so a LinkedIn newsletter I'm referring to. So if you actually create an article, you can choose which newsletter it will sit under. Normally that's how it works. And once you've set up that, you might need to turn on LinkedIn creator mode on your profile if you don't see it. But it should be a free feature newsletter, and you can do it on a company page. And I think you can do it on a personal page as well. So,
and so you're saying posts are not really pointless, or
if your company page has got thousands of followers, then obviously they're going to kind of see that content a bit more.
Got it.
If you're struggling with a business page and getting the traction on the business page, I would just focus on your personal brand and just focus on the personal newsletter. Sell yourself.
Not the company newsletter.
Yeah.
What it is that I need to migrate myself away from. This sounds really awful, but I really need the company, the agencies, to stand on its own instead of people coming to me.
Okay, so we could probably explore that in a little bit more detail. So are you looking to maybe exit the business, or?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on that business entity and the value there.
I mean, everyone loves the page. It's just they love me more.
Yeah, it's tricky. So, have you got like a successor who's coming up to fill your boots?
Probably in about not too like 18 months, 2 years.
Yeah. So my focus would be putting my energy into getting the successor up to where they need to be, and start handing off that.
So it is a personal thing. I've got you now. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. I get it. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Okay, let's try. We've got 2 more that haven't been answered, Alex. I know one of them was quite far up. So David's asked, how does the tool prevent liking something inflammatory? And Sharon's asked where you change to creator mode. So if we can quickly squeeze those 2 in the next few minutes.
Yeah, let's do it. So in terms of using AI, most AIs have a approval process. And that's what I demonstrated. There's a list of tasks that need to be approved, and then you're in control. You can approve it, and then typically the posts go out as you've approved them. So hopefully that answers that one. And in terms of LinkedIn creator mode, let's just quickly share my screen. Bear with us, guys. Sharing. Yep. So if you're not aware of this, LinkedIn Creator Mode starts to unlock a heck of a lot more stuff on your personal LinkedIn profile. If you actually go to your profile, I think it's either here where you go to public profile URL, it comes up, and you can click the pencil on that one and enable a Creator Mode. See if I can find it. Yeah. I think it might be somewhere on this page, down the bottom maybe. If not, just Google it, and Google will tell you where that can be changed. Maybe it's the account settings. Sorry. See if I can find it. If someone's in the chat and has already posted where that can be done. Creator mode. Yeah, I can't see it off the top of my head. Sorry about that. Feel free to reach out to me, and hopefully I can point you to the right place to do that.
Thanks, Alex. That was really great, and I hope everybody found that really valuable. As Alex said, if you need to, you can reach out to him. He is in the LinkedIn for Breakfast community. You can also obviously find him on LinkedIn. And obviously, yeah, if you are really struggling, with your profile, remember there is that link that Flora put in the chat for that free audit. There's only 3 spaces left now, guys, for tomorrow. But again, if they don't suit you, you can just reach out to us in LinkedIn for Breakfast on School Group, and we can help you find a slot that suits you better. So yeah, thank you all for your time this morning. As I say once more, I hope you find it valuable, and we'll look forward to seeing you here for another one same time next week.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks for the good to meet you all, and yeah, wish you all the best in your LinkedIn journeys.
Thanks everyone. Bye.